Hi, this is Vicki from Learning Services at George Mason University. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to use Google Calendar to create a weekly routine. I like to think of time management at 3 levels. The first level is the semester. That's all your due dates and exam dates. The second level is your week. This is your weekly routine, when your classes take place, and if you have a job, when your work hours are. And then the third level is your day, and that is the tasks you need to do each day in order to meet those deadlines and prepare for those exams. So today I'm talking about the second level, which is your weekly routine. We want to have our weekly routine written down because it really helps us see how much time we have available in any given day. While most students have their weekly schedule memorized after the first couple of weeks, it's still helpful to plot this out so you get a visualization of when you're busy and when you have free time. Now on this schedule, I'm not trying to fill this entire schedule. What I want to do is create like a skeleton. So these are the things that don't change, that happen at the same time every week throughout the entire semester. So I've got my class schedule here, and for the first class, what I'm going to do is add that, and that class meets on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10:30 to 11:45. So I can add an appointment on here in 2 ways. One, I can either go onto my Google Calendar and just point my cursor at the box where that time is going to start, or I can click on this create button. So this time I'm going to go ahead and just click on the box, and this class I said meets at 10:30. So I'm going to click, and it may not be exactly at 10:30. Oh, it happened. Okay, good. And then I'm going to put the name of the class. Okay. It's giving me a time from 10:30 to 11:30, so it's defaulting to 1 hour. Now these classes meet for 75 minutes, so I need to change this time. And Google's going to give me a range of choices, but I'm actually going to have it go till 11:45, and I'm just going to use my keyboard to type that in. Okay. Now the next thing, I typed PM. Okay, easy to fix. Now, the other thing is it defaults to does not repeat. Well, this class actually meets every Monday and Wednesday throughout the entire semester. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to give me this drop-down menu. And if it only met once a week, I could just say, okay, it happens weekly on Monday. But it actually happens Mondays and Wednesdays. So I'm going to choose Custom. And Custom's going to give me these choices here. It's going to default to every week, and it's already selected Monday. I'm also going to select Wednesday. Now this class doesn't happen forever, so I'm going to actually tell it to end, and I'm going to have it end in May, right around when classes end. And then I'll click Done. Now, if this class is in a specific classroom, I can add the location. I can say what building it's in and the room number. If this class is an online class, this is a great place to add the link to the class. This way, I don't have to go and search for it. Or if it's always in Blackboard, I could just type a reminder, Blackboard Collaborate. But if it's a Zoom class and it's got the same link every week, I can go ahead and drop that Zoom link right in here, and then I don't have to go and search for it later. Now I am color coding my schedule, and it's defaulting to orange, which is my Learning Services calendar. But I'm going to change this color, and for IT, I've chosen Sage, so green. I can also add a notification on here. So sometimes I kind of when I'm working, get in the zone and I forget, oh, I'm supposed to be transitioning either to walking across campus or, to get to a classroom, or that I have to shift gears and get ready for an online meeting or an online class. So I might decide to put a notification on here, and I can have it, the default is 10 minutes. I could have it just do 5 minutes before. Let's say I'm just transitioning to an online class. I might just have that reminder 5 minutes before. If I need to walk across campus, though, I might set it for 15 minutes before to give me a little bit of time. Now, a notification like this is just going to go ahead and do a pop-up on my computer screen. I can choose more options, and I can add a notification, or I can change the existing one to an email. Or if I want to associate my cell phone number with my Google account, I could also have it send me a text message. But I like just having a notification on here. Once everything is all set up, I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Now you can see that it has added this event onto Mondays and Wednesdays. Now I've added the rest of the schedule onto the next week, and you can see I've color-coded so each class is a different color. This way it's going to pop out. Our brains really like color. It's going to stand out for me. It also means when I put my due dates, which is something that I did in the previous video, I also colored the due dates and put them as all-day events so that they show up at the very top of each day. That way they stand out to me, and because of the color, it's a shortcut in my brain, so I very quickly know, oh, this is blue, it's for my math class. This is pink, it's for my communications class. Now there's one class that's not on here, and that's my psychology class. Psychology is an online class, and it doesn't have a regular time that the class meets. This is called an asynchronous class, and I still want to account for this class time, because instead of having live lectures, the professor is providing us with pre-recorded video lectures. So I need to have time to actually watch those lectures. I'm also going to need to have some time to do the classwork that's associated with it. But on this weekly schedule, I'm just putting the meetings that I have, things that happen in a regular time. Well, psychology doesn't happen at a regular time. But because our brains really like routine, I'm going to schedule time for me to go ahead and watch those pre-recorded lecture videos. Now, in class, if a class is meeting for an hour and 15 minutes, I'm not going to be taking notes that entire time. Maybe have about an hour of lecture, or even less if there's discussion in the class. So I'm not going to be taking the entire time. And my note-taking is pretty much going to be confined to that class meeting time. When there's a video lecture, though, it tends to take a little bit longer to watch and take notes. Now, that's a whole other session about talking about note-taking, but suffice it to say, you don't need to make a transcript of word for word of what the professor is saying, but I do like to make sure I leave plenty of time to watch those video lectures and to go ahead and do some note-taking from that. So since I know that my brain likes routine, and I already have a class every day, Monday through Friday at 10:30, I have a class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1:30. So to stay in this routine, I'm going to actually set my psychology class at the same time as my Conflict 101 class. Now, of course, I'm going to be consistent and change this to 2:45 p.m. Now, if it doesn't take me that total time, that's all right. It's just found time. And this, again, is going to repeat. I'm going to make it custom, repeating every Monday and Wednesday, and I'm going to have it end in May. Now, again, I want a different color. I don't want it to be orange because it's going to blend in with the other information in here. So let's go ahead and make this class this nice lavender color. All right, so here is my class schedule. I know people's schedules aren't this routine, but just trying to give an example of what it could look like. So go through and put your regular class meeting time. And if you don't have one, if it's an asynchronous virtual class, set a time to watch those video lectures or to complete whatever class activities you would have. Sometimes professors will substitute an in-person classroom discussion for a discussion board. So that might be something that I'm working on during these times. I might be watching the video lecture and doing my discussion board posts during this time that I've set aside. Now, there's other things that are happening in my life besides school. Maybe I have a job. Maybe I'm working at the university for, like 10 hours a week. I want to account for that as well. So I would want to add that to my schedule. And let's say I work on Monday through Friday from 7 until 9 o'clock. And again, this is going to repeat. I'm going to make it a custom repeat. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it'll end in May. And I want a different color for this. All right, so now it has added my work schedule. Other things I might be involved in, maybe I'm in a club sport and we have practice on Saturdays. So I would add that to my schedule here on Saturdays. Maybe I attend spiritual or religious services. I would add that onto my Sunday schedule. If I have maybe date night with my significant other on Saturday nights, I might block off my Saturday nights. Again, I'm not trying to block off this entire schedule, but things that I might want to add on here are my personal goals. So if I have a goal to exercise, I could set aside this time every day at 8 o'clock for working out for an hour and a half. There we go. And this I'm going to do every single day, and it's not going to end. Okay, so now you can see I started on Monday, so it's not showing up on the 31st. But if I go forward a week, you can see that it's on here every Sunday. So if it's important, you should add it to your weekly routine. If it happens at a regular time, let's say you have physical therapy, a doctor's appointment, put that on your schedule because you want to account for that time. Now that I have my weekly routine in here, I used to have students block off their study time, but I've gotten away from that. And that's because if you fill this whole schedule up, if something happens, and something inevitably will come up, then the whole schedule falls apart. So that's why we're just putting together this skeleton of a routine on here. And when I look at it, I can see the in-between times, and these are times that I have available for doing schoolwork and studying. Now, I might be tempted to say, oh, you know what? Somebody invites me to go do something on a Monday afternoon. I might be tempted to say, sure, I'll go and do that and skip out on the video recordings for psychology because I'll say, oh, I'll do that later. If I'm going to actually change something, I need to grab it and drag it someplace else. So let's say something did come up, like I did need to go to the doctor, and the only time the doctor I could see me was during that class time, or this time that I've set aside for this asynchronous class. To change this on here, I can either open it up and edit it, but it's much easier to just grab this and drag it. So let's say I'm going to move it down here before I go to work. Google is going to prompt me and it's going to say, hey, do you want to change all of these or just this one? And I'm just going to change this one. But I could change this one and all of the events that come afterwards. But I'm just going to change this one. So that and then I'm of course going to add on my doctor's appointment. Add my doctor's appointment. I'm going to make it red because it's unusual, so I want it to stand out. Okay, but most of the time I don't want to mess with this asynchronous class. If somebody asks me if I want to do something, I'm sorry, I have a class. Nobody needs to know that it's an asynchronous class, but if you wait till you feel like working on the schoolwork for this class, it's going to start to pile up. And it's super important that you study a little bit for each of your classes every day. If it's going to take you 8 hours to learn something, your brain would much rather spend an hour and 10 minutes every single day doing it for a week instead of, hey, I'm just going to sit here on Saturday and bang this out. After about an hour, hour and a half, you're going to lose focus. It's going to be really hard to motivate yourself. Anytime we're thinking like, I have to sit here for 8 hours and do one task, it's really exhausting for our brains and our bodies. So spread out your learning so that you're doing a little bit of learning every day for your classes throughout the week. But hopefully having this written schedule on Google will help you. The nice part about Google Calendar is anywhere you have an internet connection and a device, you can look up your calendar. You can also take this and sync it with the calendar on your computer, or you can sync it with the calendar on your phone. And it doesn't matter if you have an Apple device or a Samsung or a PC, you should be able to sync your Google Calendar. Now, once we've made our calendar, and you can see I've added, in the previous video, I had added some of the due dates, and you can see them showing up at the top. See, here's when it starts to get a little bit busier. You can see them showing up at the top. During the 6th week of the semester, I've got a research paper and a midterm exam due that week. Okay, and again, it's color-coded, so it matches with my class schedule, and I know what I've got to do. And I said the 6th week, you can see in this first column for Sunday, I went ahead and added a number so I could tell which week of the semester it is. A lot of times when you look at the syllabus, the professor doesn't necessarily put a date. They'll just say week 1, week 2, week 3. So spending a minute to do this really helped me go ahead and put in those due dates. Okay, so now I've got this routine on here and I've got my due dates. I have to actually look at my calendar. A really good strategy that you can utilize is to go ahead and set Google Calendar as your browser's homepage. This way, every time you open up your browser, boom, there's your schedule, all right? And you are looking at it right away. The other thing you can do is to pair looking at your schedule with a current habit. So let's say every day you get up and you make a cup of coffee, you might go ahead and also check your Google Calendar. So I'm going to make my coffee. While the coffee is brewing, I'm going to check my calendar and see what I have coming up this week. The other thing that Google Calendar allows me to do is switch from this week view. I can just look at a day if I want, or I can look at the month and I can see, again, these due dates are showing up really nicely. They're popping right out because they're listed as all-day events. So I can look at my schedule as a month. I can also look at the schedule as a year, but it's just going to more show me the dates. So most of the time, I'm looking at the schedule as a week or as a month. I hope that you found this information helpful. We're going to have a third video on your day, and in that video, I will talk about how do you break down these assignments, like this research paper, and how do you break down the learning to get ready for this midterm exam. And so I've got another strategy that utilizes Google to help you with your planning. Thank you.